My name is Justony Vasquez. I serve at St. Patrick's Church, and I'm also part of CFC Youth, Couples for Christ Youth.
Hi, I'm Judith Vasquez. I am from St. Patrick's Church and also serving at the Office of Catechetics and Faith Development.
I think this session was quite different. It was funny because a lot of the time we were very efficient. So we finished our discussion pretty quickly, agreeing on most of what we had to say. And I think it was just so humbling because it's easy to want to find differences in what each of us had to say. But at the end of the day, it's about being humble and listening to your neighbor and just finding Christ in them. So that's how it was different for me this time around.
My experience with the whole synodal process and this last session, it's more of a reflection. I really find this as a gift from God. At the same time, it's a treasure not to keep, but to actually share it to others, especially those ones who are quiet in my church pews. At the same time, joining and walking with our fellow catechists in the Archdiocese of Winnipeg. And it's a humbling experience. At the same time, I'm so blessed for today. And I've seen it witness that we all experience to be St. John the Baptist and our Blessed Virgin Mary at the same time. In the beginning, when I found out that Justony was invited to be part of the Synod process, I actually talked to who is in charge of inviting my daughter to make sure that I wasn't part of that invitation, because I want to make sure that my daughter would really experience freedom in our faith and not being pushed in or forcing her to be part of the Synod process.
For myself, it's a beautiful thing to share the faith with your family. So I'm so blessed and privileged to be able to have that opportunity in my church life, in my community life, and especially here through the Archdiocese. From the very first time that we had, the washing of the feet, and the first time that we met together as a synod, as the delegates, I remember just getting so excited to share my experience, my own personal journey with the Lord with my mom.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think after every time we come from a synodal session, I'll always be excited to go back into our van and drive the long way home and just discuss and sometimes not argue, but just have healthy discussions, have healthy exchange of our faith and how we felt at our individual tables, and just sharing how our experience was and how we can also take that to our family and to our community.
And she mentioned about our discussion, not argument, but a good quality discussion with high pitch. So that exemplifies, or that's actually a reflection of St. John the Baptist, again, being bold with our faith, with our own, the way we see how the Synod process is. At the same time, we listen to each other, just like the Blessed Virgin Mary, being obedient and humble to each other. Tough question. Still on the process, but the way I was enlightened with the gospel reading that was given to us, which is the gospel according to Mark, the Beatitude, the line that blessed are those who have pure at heart, for they will see God. Everyone is work in progress, but at the same time, our experience in the synodal process is an inspiration. But if we stop there and we don't make decisions, I'm speaking for myself, a decision of moving forward to have that pure heart, it would be difficult for me to wash feet of other people. So I'm hoping that we remain as faithful and prayerful church in the Archdiocese of Winnipeg, and hoping that we would be bold in our faith, but at the same time we'll be listening more and be more sensitive to the needs of others.
For myself, I've been reflecting on how God is ever ancient and ever new. And the reading that we were given at our table was the prelude to the Pentecost. And I think we just have to remember the timelessness of it all, that we can look back on God, how he acted through throughout history and know that he's still doing the same, but in new ways, and that we get to be part of that, and we get to participate in God's beautiful work. And we should remember that honor and be humbled by it, and know that it truly is a calling, and more than just a name tag. Yeah.
Led by our shepherd, His Grace Archbishop Richard, it's just humble experience wherein when I was reading at the Gospel of Mark, it reminds me when he sat down and listened, because Jesus did that. He didn't rush the people, and he took time. That was coming down from the mountain from a prayer, he sat down and listened. Disciples came. And that's what the bishop did. He sat down, he listened. Can you imagine? I can't stand not talking for 1 minute. But the bishop did listen. He listens. And it was like a domino effect. The secretariat did a very good job with obedience and listening. They did that, followed by us, the delegates, who are also listening to each other. There might be a little tension, but then that's the beauty of it, because we listen to the Holy Spirit, wherein at the end we are unified in solidarity and love. We come up with the final, not the end. We're closing. We close today, but it's a new beginning. Inspired and asking the Lord that He would give me a pure heart, and the Spirit will fill me in. Moving forward, that I believe there should really be a focus on listening to others. At the same time, knowing that God is God, and I should be still, because the Holy Spirit will work through us, and everything will be according to God's plan.
Well, we all have our baptismal calling that Archbishop keeps reminding us of so beautifully, and that's to be missionary disciples. And I think for each of us, that's different, could mean different things. And we can find that in our different initiatives, being an advocate for the vulnerable, allowing places for youth to serve. And I think for me, it's just to take those opportunities to be Christ to people who don't have that, but also Christ to people who have Christ in their life, but they need to be restored with joy. That's something we talked about today. Yeah, I mean, that's a difficult question to answer now, right? And so I think journeying to find that answer as we're leaving. I always, come out of the Synod with something left to ponder with. And I think one of the most touching moments was the very first Mass that we had together, when we were called to wash one another's feet. So I think something that I have been asking myself, or something that I can also keep asking myself, is whose feet am I gonna wash today? Yeah.
The beauty of being together in the Mass. Not only when we attend the Synod, we're always excited coming to the Synod. We can't wait to be together again. But even when we go back to our respective parish, St. Patrick's Church, the parts of the Mass is always highlighted. But whenever the consecration, take, offer, we eat, we break the bread, and share it to others. So if Justony is thinking about how to, or who should she wash feet for today? For me, to whom can I share that bread to others? For the praise and glory of God.